Hello, everybody. Welcome to Spitballin'. I'm Matt Taylor here with my good buddy,
Kyle Amundsen.
How are you doing today, Kyle?
I'm great.
Are you?
Yeah, it's been a great day. I went to, started off, strange thing. Not so strange. Wonderful thing. So basically everyone that I've come into contact with today, I started off like my day with a doctor's appointment, which went super well. We talked about my doctor before, Dr. Bader.
Checked your prostate?
No.
Bummer.
I go to that. I go to a special guy for that, the one that played in the NBA.
Oh, good.
Power forward, big hands. Love that guy. Hard. Doctor's appointment, that went well. So like the ladies check-in desk, the nurse, my doctor, like everybody, wonderful. I stop at Costco. Oh, I shouldn't even say shit like that, but yeah, what the fuck? We don't worry about that. So Costco, because I love that store. And
they can sponsor us if they want. Right? We'll accept that.
Ran into a girl I've known for a long time, gym girl, Ashley Banks, who's wonderful, funny, charming, wonderful girl. And basically, then I go to the gym, and everywhere I've gone today, like every single interaction that I've had with any other human being has been wonderful.
Yeah.
Like happy, smiley, laughing, joking, and you don't just get that out of every day, and you don't get that everywhere. And some people don't get that at all, it was just it's been a fucking wonderful day.
Well, that's amazing.
Zippity fucking doodah, Kyle.
Zippity fucking
Glad you had
doodah.
a fucking good day. No, but seriously, it was wonderful. Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody has been following on the Facebook, but I'm on my second day of fasting.
I have been following. I've been keeping my comments to myself because I figured the jokes will be funnier for me the hungrier you get.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because, really the hunger is pretty much past now. So, the first 24 hours is, kind of the most miserable. You're really hungry. And then today I feel good. Last night, the only thing, and I said this on Facebook, but in case you don't follow me, the only thing that really came up last night was I couldn't go to sleep. I don't know if that was as much because I was had an empty belly. I wasn't starving. I felt fine, but I just couldn't shut my mind off. And I was like, is this because I haven't eaten, or is it because I haven't had anything to drink? And I was like, and I felt a little weird about it. And I said on the Facebook as well, but one of the things that I wanted to do when I experienced this fast was kind of examine my relationship with food. Cause I feel like, we, especially as Americans, just, we eat shit all the time, and it's just the easier and the faster, the better. And when you step away from it, it gives you a little bit more of an appreciation of food. And I think that that's important for everybody, but it's definitely important for me. So that was part of it, but I didn't really think it would, I didn't really think that I would end up having to examine my relationship with my beloved Malbec or my yummy Greyhounds. I definitely partake in a nightcap, and I love it. I love being just. I
never wear one.
Sometimes I do wear one. I get cold easy, so that was weird. So I laid there last night for I don't know, an hour and a half, not being able to sleep, which is a really weird experience for me. So I'm wondering if that's going to continue, how that will work. And yeah, it's kind of,
maybe you'll just get more shit done.
Well, that is for sure. I definitely I had a very productive day yesterday, and today as well has been very productive. And that's actually a physiological thing, because when you don't eat, your body starts telling you hey, motherfucker, go eat something. You're hungry, and then pretty soon
go grow some crops or kill a fucking beast or whatever.
So what happens is after a little while, it says, your body goes, oh fuck, I guess this motherfucker ain't gonna feed me. Then it starts giving you the hormone or the chemicals to say, track that bitch down and kill it. And so that's the whole so definitely you kind of have almost like a stimulant, going on at this point. So this is day two, day 3, and that's kind of when and then you kind of peak at that. And yeah, so I'm kind of curious. If you don't know, I've decided to do a long-term fast. My goal, very light goal, is to do 30 days. But I don't know if I'm going to go that long. I'm going to just play it by ear, listen to my body. One of the things that I want to really guard myself from is losing muscle mass. So if I start, not feeling, weak, I don't know. I'm just going to play it by ear, but I'll keep you updated.
What the real story is, Matt was self-conscious about his t-shirts, and now he has an eating disorder.
That is not true at all. This is not a weight thing. I'm very comfortable with my body. I've been in pretty good shape since I was about 40. But no, it honestly, and we talked a little bit about it with the Mark Hummel show, but as most of you know, my father's suffering from Alzheimer's, and it's fucking horrible. And I don't want to make any unrealistic claims about fasting, but there is some evidence that fasting can reduce your whatever the word is, but your propensity to get Alzheimer's, and also heart disease and other things. Now, this is very new science, so there's, I'm not making any claims again, but I'm also like, well, I mean, if there's a chance that will help, I'm not that attached to food. I can spend some uncomfortable time and see where it goes. So it's interesting, but it's cool. And it's just a water fast. All I'm drinking is water, and I'm using the electrolyte balanced water because I guess that's important. And but no coffee, no booze, no food. I have been taking caffeine pills, and I also bought some caffeinated water because I didn't want to die.
I was actually I thought about getting a hold of Jenna, who's going to be our guest on the show today, who's a great chef, and asking her to bring some hors d'oeuvres so she and I could enjoy them. Well, but then, okay, so that's my impulse. I've told you guys before that I'm a fucking horrible human being. At heart, I'm a disgusting fucking person. I have to think about shit, and then okay, don't fucking don't murder that fucking homeless person, or shit like that. Don't steal the candy from that child. Okay, I'm still gonna steal that candy from the child because I'm a fat fuck and I love candy, but. No, I actually, and I thought about it, and I'm like, man, really, Kyle? Is that what you want to do? I'm like, don't be a cunt. Support your friend in his efforts.
I thought it was an interesting choice because, again, we're having Jenna on tonight, and she is a fantastic chef, and most of my relationship with her has been around food. So it will be fun to talk about food when I'm starving to death. So that'd be cool. Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, been doing great. And actually, I shouldn't say other than that. I think that's actually a plus sign. I've been happy with my experience so far, and I'll keep everybody updated as to how it goes.
Excellent. I too will be fasting. I just ate, and I won't eat again for 3 hours.
Right, maybe 3.5, depending on how long this goes.
Yes.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here, how is that going to work? If you don't eat, as an unintended consequence, you're going to lose some weight. You're already a ridiculous freeze baby.
Yeah, that might be tough. I am kind of a ridiculous freeze baby. I told the story a long time ago, I don't know, episode 2 or 1 or whatever, but
he was cryogenically frozen during World War II, and we just thawed him out a little while back.
I am Captain America. Yes, I am Captain. When I was 16, I was really unhealthy. I had just got out of treatment, and I went hunting with some friends of mine, and I got lost in the woods, and it wasn't even cold. It was 40 degrees, but I ended up falling in some water, and anyway, I ended up getting hypothermia, pretty bad, to the point where I was hallucinating. I thought I could eat tree bark. I didn't, but I was you
might be there again.
It was really bad. And when you're in the woods and you're in trouble, you're supposed to fire your gun 3 times to indicate, trouble. And I had enough presence of mind to I was going to fire my gun. And I looked at my gun, and it was caked with mud, and there was mud down. And thank God I didn't decide to just blast off 3 shots and blow myself up. But anyway, I ended up going to the hospital even, and like my core body temperature is really cold. And ever since then, I've just been a fucking pussy when it comes to being cold.
No tauntauns in these woods. That's the problem.
Right. And last week, when we had Dave Badeau on, I don't know if you watched the episode, you may have like noticed that I was kind of shivering during it. For some reason, both Dave and Kyle were fine. I think it might have to do with the R factor of their insulation. I'm not calling you fat, but I'm just saying.
No, I'm well insulated.
Yeah.
I
mean, Dave is fit as a fiddle, but.
Yes, he's a specimen. Speaking of fit as a fiddle, it's not as easy to say as I thought it was, especially for my stuttering, stammering ass. So, if you're wondering whose ass this is, in your face, this is something that my lovely wife Christine discovered when she was out thrifting, and she sent it to me. Like, your view of it is exactly the same as my first view of it. Because she sent me a picture of it and was like, it's like they took a picture of you from behind. Okay, no, I'm not that lean and muscular. Maybe muscular, not lean. But my butt does look like that. If you know me in person, don't be shy. You can admit it. You've looked at my ass, and it is spectacular.
And you're welcome.
It's my best feature.
You're welcome to feel it. Kyle is totally okay.
Yeah. Welcome to feel it. Shit, you're just welcome. But yeah, so this is something Christine picked up, and I thought, hey, I know exactly where that's going.
That's perfect. It's perfect. So last week I was freezing my ass off during the episode, and this week,
I thought we were done with that. My bad.
Well, no, you're fine. It's called tangents. But in our little temporary studio here, there really isn't any heat, and I don't know. It's fucking getting cold already. It's ridiculous. I mean, today is pretty nice out, but it's still pretty cold in here. It's like 61 degrees. So, so I have a heater at my feet now, and I'm nice and toasty warm. So I'm not going to shiver, but Kyle might, because
Well, I'm still in shorts and sandals.
Yeah,
but I probably won't shiver.
I am wearing long johns. No, I'm not, but I'm like, I got sweatshirt on, full pants, socks, and all that stuff.
And I am heavy, so when I shiver, like, you'll know it's like it's like shit's measured on the Richter scale. It's fucking, there's like tremors and stuff.
Well, after the episode, like I was telling Kyle before the episode, so what it is because I went through that extreme. It wasn't extreme hypothermia. I didn't like lose fingers and shit, but it was really scary, and I was young, and so it caused a trauma pattern. So whenever I start to get cold, I start to kind of flash back to it. So it's like some PTSD from being cold. So when I start to get cold, I'll start to shiver, and I fucking can't stop. So after the episode, I was like, I did fucking take a hot bath. And
in Matt's defense, by the end of that episode, me and Dave were actually cold too, and I don't get cold very easy. Like I said, I'm a fat fuck, and I was fucking. It was a little chilly in here eventually.
Yeah, I was dying. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into the new studio, which is again a ways away. But I've been working hard on getting that all remodeled, so that will be very fun.
Speaking of now we've talked about hunger, we've talked about cold. Total tangent. This is not in my notes. It just made me think of the movie Ravenous. Have you ever seen the movie Ravenous?
Yeah, it's the one where they it's kind of like the Donner Party thing.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. It's a fucked up movie actually.
Man, and fucking great.
Yeah, I liked it.
If you haven't seen it, it's if you've got Hulu, you can watch it on Hulu. It's one of they've got it's in their movies. I don't know about Netflix or the rest. I just found it on Hulu because I've got all that shit. But yeah, I've been meaning to watch that again, particularly because it's hard for me to get I don't super love horror movies, but if I find one that I like, and I consider that kind of a horror movie.
Yeah, it was it was super dark. I mean, it was about some pioneers that ended up
yeah, there's cannibalism and shit. And the score is really good because the parts that are supposed to be really fucking crazy, the music it adds a lot to it. Yeah,
if I remember right, they took some criticism for that because it's an old western-y set in the 1800s, 1700s kind of thing, 1800s I think.
Great cast too.
Yeah, I don't remember anybody that was in it honestly.
Oh man, really?
But I remember that the score was was modern. It was like electric guitar and kind of cool. And I know they took some criticism for it, but I actually thought it worked well in the film.
Super well.
A Knight's Tale was another one like that.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the show before.
They kind of like, and I fucking, man, for such a cheesy movie, I still hold it up as one of the fucking best ever, man.
See, I didn't super enjoy it, but there were some scenes that were cool. Like, I mean, it was just kind of stylish. Like, they used David Bowie's golden years. They were like for this medieval ball.
Yeah,
like that was
one of my favorite parts was when they like did the "We Will Rock You" in the stands. And there was just I thought they just did a fantastic job. That I think that that was, in my opinion, one of Heath Ledger's best films. So,
and who did
fuck when he was the Joker, man? He was way better as a Knight's Tale.
Was the guy supposed to be Chaucer? Who was that?
Yeah, it was Chaucer. I can't remember that dude's name, but he was also in like A Beautiful Mind.
He plays Vision in the Avengers movies.
In the Avengers.
Pretty solid actor himself.
Yep. Yeah, and he was like a homeless drunk dude but just happened to be Chaucer, who was a poet, and I don't know if you know who Chaucer is. I feel like I'm condescending on you, but Chaucer was like a pre-Shakespearean poet.
That's all right. They don't know what condescend means.
I don't want to condensate on you. I'm really sorry about that.
Right. Like, we're always so fucking clever like that. Sometimes, like there was a word that Dave used, and you were like, we don't know what that means, and I was like, do we know what that means? I'm like, motherfuck. Like, because sometimes I'm like, yeah, I have a great vocabulary, and then like somebody use a fairly common word, and I'm like, nope, not in there.
Yeah, I can't remember what word he did use, but it was, yeah, I don't know. I was actually just making fun of him. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch last week's episode with His Royal Highness Dave Badeau, I say it all the time that like, this is my favorite episode. This is my favorite episode.
Man, it was so fun.
But this last one really might be my favorite episode. And it was so fun because, like, Dave and I kind of clash heads a little bit, and it brought the dick out in me, and I was kind of mean.
You had me at dick in me.
Yeah, I really, it was fun. There were some funny things that happened in that episode, so I really suggest that you watch it.
It was great. I've always enjoyed the Dave. Actually, I met Dave like a lot of people. I met Dave through football.
Oh, really?
And I've always enjoyed him.
He wasn't playing football. Come on now.
Yes. Dave was actually
cheerleader.
No, he went to high school here. So he was from a well-coached program. He was a well-coached, smart player. Pretty average athlete, but smart and opportunistic. He was a good football player.
I can see the opportunistic part. I'm going to stop giving Dave shit. Though I will have to say that he did claim that Jesus has sex with fish on the last episode. So, like, I'm pretty sure his political career is over. But you don't want to check that out. I wanted to bring up one thing. I've been meaning to like fucking bring it up for a while. And I even one day I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this Western, and then I couldn't remember what it is. And I finally wrote it down. We missed, I think, one of the greatest Westerns of all time when we had our marathon Western episode with Drew Peterson, and it's Little Big Man.
Oh, with Dustin Hoffman.
Fucking amazing Western.
That was a really fucking big movie when we were kids.
Great movie. And I've probably seen it like 30 times. But I can't even tell you what the storyline is because it's such an incredible journey.
Fucking like rambling. I mean,
it's about this guy's life.
Yeah.
But there are some scenes in it that I just love. And one is when he's a young man, he becomes the soda pop kid, and he becomes a gunfighter because he's just good. He's got good fast hands, and they call him the soda pop kid. And I love that scene. And then the other one is when he's talking to the old chief and they're in the battle, and I can't remember the name of that actor, but that actor has been in a lot of movies that feature Native Americans, and he's just old as
so if he's from back in the day and he's in roles like playing a Native American, he's probably Italian.
Yeah, he could be. I think he is, because he's kind of one of the famous ones. But he in the scene he tells Dustin Hoffman's character that he's invisible, that he has discovered invisibility.
Yes.
And now he can no longer be touched by the bullets of the white man. And so he like walks out of the teepee and he's just walking around this battle and he's like, see, they can't see me. And of course they can, but they're fucking killing everybody else. And it was just, every time I see that scene, I just laugh my ass off. So I just felt like we missed one. So if you haven't seen Little Big Man, that is so well worth watching.
Yeah.
And
It's not
up.
your blood and thunder Western. It's more of but it's an interesting movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna watch that again.
I think you should. It's great.
Oh,
I probably watched it about 5 years ago and really enjoyed it.
so I did. So I watched The Martian.
What did you think?
I fucking loved it. It's excellent. I really enjoyed it. And I liked, like his, I wish I could remember, maybe I'll post a clip of it on the website, or on the Facebook page. His speech at the end of it. Oh shit.
Well,
Spoiler alert, but again, it's years old. Well,
not that old, but
anyway,
it's a really good movie. I mean, it was a pretty big blockbuster hit.
It's about thinking your way through shit and stuff, but
totally.
Well, and I was gonna say, like, and when I was watching it, I was thinking, man, I'm like, it's hard to go wrong with Ridley Scott, the famous director. And then I actually looked at a list of Ridley Scott movies, and then I realized, you know what? It's actually pretty easy to
go
about
wrong with Ridley Scott.
Yeah, 50-50 is exactly what I was thinking. Because, so many fucking amazing movies, to his credit. And, and then some that are not so amazing. But whatever. Hit home. I mean, who hits fucking home runs every time?
What ones? I can't think of any Ridley Scott movies I didn't like. Like, what do you think?
Exactly. But when I was looking at the list, I'm like, no.
Like what?
No. Oh, I can't even think of any of the names. Oh. I mean, I can pull it up.
They just seriously like fade away. They were so unimpressive.
Yeah, absolutely. But there was one that I don't think a lot of people have heard of. Have you ever seen, this is a long shot. I don't think a lot of people have seen this movie. I think it was made in 1978. It was called The Duelists, with Keith Carradine and
gotta love me some Keith Carradine.
Right? Keith Carradine and Harvey Keitel.
Jeez.
So these guys are both officers in Napoleon's army. And over the course of like several campaigns, they're all over fucking Europe. And this movie is like the costumes, the scenery,
it's like an epic.
Everything is fucking so well done. And every time they see each other, it's fucking on, and they fucking try to kill each other.
Really?
Yeah. And no, it's not like, they don't hate like each other, but Harvey Keitel's character is fucking crazy. He's like one of those really angry dudes that in his mind, Carradine's character has offended him, has insulted his honor. So he's going to fucking kill him. And it becomes this big mystery, like through the army, because, like dueling was a big thing back then. These guys were like fucking rock stars, like sports heroes and shit, like dueling was a big deal. So people would be like, so what is it with you two? And as a point of honor, Carradine's character says he won't talk about it. And nobody really wants to ask Harvey Keitel's character because he's a fucking loose cannon. He'll fly off the handle and kill you. So, like, they fight these duels, and they're fucking trying to kill each other. And at times, they almost do kill each other, like chop each other to fucking bits, and like then recover and shit, but like, or like something will happen, like this duel ends badly this way.
So did you just watch this? Or
I've been watching it for years.
This is one of your like little Conan the Barbarians.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's so fucking great. I mean, it's interesting from the perspective, like the whole dueling thing and the honor thing, like that's great. The whole dynamic between these two guys, like one of them is just like, fucking leave it alone, but he's not going to, honor dictates that he accept the challenge.
Interesting. I'd be interested because I'm pretty into Napoleon, actually. I read a really big, long ass book about Napoleon, and I mean, I find him very interesting, and people really, it's a lesson about like you can win and win and win and win, and everybody's going to remember your last your last game.
What's your most famous battle, Napoleon?
Yeah, right. It was I think of the year, I don't even remember what it was, 98, when the Vikings like went like, 15-1, and then the fucking the punter missed, or the kicker missed the kick. Laces out day. That's as much as I know about football. That was 100% of what I know about football. But it was like, you talk about that year and people just are like, and it's like, man, they kicked ass right up until the last minute. And that was what, like, I think happened with Napoleon at Waterloo. I'm not an expert, but
I think
he really gets a horrible rap. And I'm curious, because I know a fucking shitload about Napoleon's army now, so I'd be curious to like watch this movie and like I think I'd be able to have a pretty accurate.
And you learn a lot about like dueling and shit like that. He insists that this duel be fought from horseback as an homage to the cavalry.
Interesting, yeah.
Stuff like that, just crazy shit. And then like they wind up in in Russia,
right,
fighting in that fucking campaign.
Yeah, that was a horrible deal.
And they wind up like fighting like back to back. They're fighting together, and then but that does not mean it's over. It's just and it's
so they're able to put they're like okay, right, like we have this battle fight, we're good. Yep. Let's go kick their ass. But as soon as we're done, I'm fucking coming for you, asshole. Interesting. Yeah. One of my favorite dueling scenes in any movie, and it's kind of an interesting one, but it's, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Dangerous Liaisons.
I have not,
really?
But
Okay.
I'm familiar. Is John Malkovich?
Yeah, it's John Malkovich, and Glenn Close is in it. Also, who played Kill Bill chick?
Uma Thurman.
She's like one of her. She's really young and beautiful in it. It's
like the Adventures of Baron von Munchausen.
Oh, I'm not sure.
She was beautiful in there.
I don't know, sidetrack. But she was also in. Only Cowgirls Get the Blues. That was, I think, her first film, and it's about this chick that is got super big thumbs and she hitchhikes across the country. It's the weirdest fucking movie of all time, but it was really good.
That's a weird premise.
Well, actually, I don't even know if it was really good. It was just, it was hot when I was fucking 18. But Dangerous Liaisons is a really interesting film, very, interesting period piece. And, but at the end, there's a duel with John Malkovich and Keanu Reeves. And it's it's a great duel because John Malkovich is, a fucking old, experienced guy, and you got Keanu Reeves, who's like this young stud who just wants to like do it. And the way Malkovich like kills him, he fucks him up, but it's with just like he's like dragging his sword across the ground, and then fucking, just like, I don't even have to try. And then fucking Keanu Reeves will come in, and it's a really cool scene. And Malkovich doesn't even want to kill. He's just like, but it's interesting. I really think it's actually, have you ever seen the stupid one? I don't remember what it's called. It's like, I don't know. It's Dangerous Mind. No. I don't know, but it's like a fucking, it is the story of Dangerous Liaisons, but it's set in like the 90s, and it's all fucking tits and lesbians, and not that there's anything wrong with
I'll
lesbians.
put it on my list. Like this movie's got some great duels. Of course, it's called The Duelists. But two of my other favorite duels were in what is possibly my favorite movie of all time, Highlander.
Oh yeah.
I apologize for calling your wife a bloated warthog. And with a guy like, Connor McLeod, he can't be, you have to cut off his head to kill him. And he keeps getting run through. He's stabbed and over because he's wasted and he cannot keep up with this guy. The guy's not a great duelist or anything, but but he can fucking stand on his feet and stab him multiple times. And he keeps like, getting a sword through the belly, and he falls down, but he keeps getting back up. And then finally he's like, I give up. I yield. And that's a great scene. Also, Rob Roy.
Oh God, I hated Rob Roy.
You hated Rob Roy?
So I have a real. I think the movie was great. Actually, I think it was great. But I have a really hard time with graphic rape scenes. And there was a graphic rape scene in that movie, and it bothered me so bad that I was just so upset by it that I couldn't like enjoy the movie.
Oh, that's too bad, because that movie is so beautiful, like with the whole like.
You know, when I saw it, I was pretty young, and like maybe I could revisit it and not have such a visceral reaction, because I think I've been anesthetized.
You know where you can also watch it? On Hulu.
Oh,
yeah.
What did you get a sponsorship from Hulu? I don't know about.
I fucking should. They're doing shit right. I did get Hulu Live because I was tired of my fucking cable.
Yeah,
because it was garbage, it was shit. And man, fucking Hulu Live is the real deal. The fucking DVR interface is great. It's amazing. Love that shit.
I don't even know what that is. What Hulu Live is?
Just live TV, like regular,
like Amazon Prime.
You know, like cable. No. That's like regular Hulu is like you know, you've got movies and all these TV series and shit like that. And then Hulu Live is like regular TV shows, because I needed that to watch football and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it, you know, to be able to DVR shit. And then of course once Disney's streaming service comes up, they're going to be attached to Hulu as well.
Oh, okay.
So like, you know, for another $5 or whatever, I'll have that shit too, you know, and which Hulu is fucking coming up.
Yeah. Weird. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Highlander. I had a couple of things to say, but I'm gonna go back to Highlander.
Fair enough.
When
I can always talk about Highlander.
I was like 17, 18, back in the day when I had my big D&D group, we used to we started getting into like, I don't know, kind of SCA style, like.
SCA is the Society for Creative Anachronism, and they do mock battles and costumes and shit.
We of course were not. We didn't have any money, so we would make these swords out of PVC pipe and wrap them with that foam insulation that you would put around a pipe to, like, you know, so it doesn't, like, I don't know, like insulates the pipe or whatever, and then wrap that in duct tape. And we had cross guards and shit. I mean, we got deep into it, and we would pummel the fucking piss out of each other with those things. And I mean, it was rough. And then we came up with this game called the Highlander, where, well, there could be only one. So basically there was out of boundses where, like, you couldn't go into somebody's work. You couldn't go into any, right? But any other place, like,
I wish this was still going on today.
I'm like, let's just reinstate it. Any other place, like, you could totally just, I used to carry a fucking PVC sword around in my car to, like, defend myself and pummel the shit out of my friends.
Dude, that is like Highlander.
Yeah, we only did it for about a week or two, and then
Fazil.
It became, I don't remember why it stopped, probably from the concussions. But yeah. And it was like,
and the endless 911 calls.
Do you know how you won when we play? The other person had to fucking yield. That was it. There was no, like, oh, you scored a headshot. No.
Batter them into submission.
You had to batter them into submission. Yep.
That would be amazing.
It was not. It was awesome. It was fucking great. It was great. And of course, we didn't know anything about actually sword fighting. It was just, I mean, we were swinging baseball bats at each other. Since then, I've done about 4 years of actual, like, kendo and aido, and, like, I think I'd fuck myself up from back then. But that's actually something I've always been interested in doing in my martial arts career again, because I'm getting old now and my body's starting to, like, fail me. But I've always been interested in getting a group of people who are interested in doing, like, actual sword work.
I would love to learn to fight with sword.
Yeah, and
especially if I can go sword shield, or throw in other combinations like axe shield and stuff.
Yeah, I know that. And the thing is like, I think that's cool too. It's just not a style that I have any experience with. I have only experience with Japanese style sword fighting.
Well, have you ever seen any of the videos of, like, guys like, okay, we're going to teach you how to fight with medieval weapons, and then you realize that this guy is just some goddamn, 36-year-old virgin who fucking, like, doesn't know anything more than you do. Right. They just happen to have fucking, like, read a book, and they're usually, and I mean, they're usually, like, the least physical specimen, like,
right.
like, I think I would run you over with my shield, and then I would fucking stab you in all your appendages, and then fucking violate your corpse, whatever. Like fucking, it's just.
And I'm not saying that there wasn't skill involved in being a knight, but there was never any formalized school like there was in Japan. I mean, those guys spent hundreds of years developing these sword techniques that were very specific. So like it's different like in the European, like basically you take this big fucking mace and you bash the shit out of somebody with it. That's what you do. So,
well, especially, I mean, because you throw in that heavy steel armor and shit like that and everything too, like, hey,
yeah, they got to yield.
Game changer.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it looks like our guest Jenna just pulled up. Anything else quick you want to say before we take a little break?
I managed to cross one thing off my list, but that is totally all right.
Well, it's okay.
A lot of this shit is not time sensitive.
Oh, and we can just talk about with Jenna.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it I can just bump it forward and shit like that too. It doesn't really matter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll take a little break, and when we come back, we'll have a Jenna on. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Spitballing. I'm Matt Taylor here with my good buddy
Kyle Amundsen.
And today we have Jenna Brower Von Siebolds in the house.
Hi, guys.
That is a hell of a name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's a mouthful.
We have been talking about having you on for a while now, and I say, yeah, next week we have Jenna. Yeah, lots of names. Yeah, so it's great. So yeah. Jenna, you are the executive chef at Prairie Bay, as well as the executive chef for Three Cheers, which kind of covers. What's Three Cheers cover?
So Three Cheers is your Sherwood Forest. We do the kitchen at CLC. We also do the Iron Range in Crosby.
Right.
And then Dock 77 is affiliated with us and still kind of underneath it.
What's Dock 77?
So it's where the quarterdeck is.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it's that kitchen, and then Prairie Bay, of course. So, yeah,
awesome.
And then all the catering.
Yeah, so you got like plenty of time.
I think right now a lot of people are going, oh, those are all like very worthwhile places to eat in the area.
Yeah.
The list, I was just going, oh yeah, awesome. Oh, awesome. Oh, awesome.
We were just joking a little bit before, but if you don't get too close enough to your mic, Von Matthew will come out.
Matthew will come out.
Yes. So get close to your mic. Yeah, they are. And one of them that I always find so surprising is the Mad Hugger.
At CLC.
At CLC, the Mad Hugger Cafe, named after Joe Plutt.
Joe Plutt. Yep.
And it's you don't expect a fucking cafeteria at a college to have really fucking good food.
Yeah, like great burritos and
it's awesome.
Noodle bowls and
yeah, very good.
Yeah, that's John Pulsiver. He does some really good stuff over there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've worked with John before, and I've heard wonderful things about that place. I have not stopped over there and eaten yet, but mostly because I go into college and I feel really old. Mm-hmm. Mostly because I just pretend hitting on them, but but no.
I just pretend to be faculty and then like, give me a burrito bowl, bitch.
What do you mean? How bad do I want an A? I don't even fucking know who you are.
So, Jenna, we've known each other for quite some time, and we were talking about beforehand how this is day 2 of my fast, and so it was such a great idea to have you on because our entire history together has surrounded food. And then Kyle was saying that he was going to have you bring appetizers because he's a dick, but he didn't. But we first met back. Well, I mean, how long ago? Like, was it East?
Ago?
Well, no, but I mean, before we've known each other before that. But were you part of did you ever go to like the East Squared? I can't remember.
A few times I went to the East Squared, and then I can't really remember where we really met.
But it was probably starting when the Sunshine Kitchen Moonshine Lounge.
Yep.
And you used to like come to a bunch of the bands and stuff like that. But up to that point, you really didn't have any experience cooking, right?
I had zero. Yeah. I was working at Cashwise Liquor forever, just slinging booze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was one day you were sitting at my bar drinking, and you were kind of lamenting that you just didn't know what the fuck you wanted to do with your life and that you were like really looking for a change.
Yep.
And I was like, do you like to cook? And you were like, I don't know, kind of.
Never cooked before.
But I mean, you were like, I cook at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like cereal.
I kind of lied about that.
Oh, you didn't even cook at home. You didn't even cook at home. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Well, and I said, man, we're fucking desperate for help right now in the kitchen. The Sunshine Kitchen Moonshine Lounge, the restaurant I used to own, is now in the place where the 218 is. And we, well, as PJ liked to so euphemistically called it, we were undercapitalized. But we were broke, man. We were always struggling, and it was really difficult for us to retain any kind of quality cooks, or at least primary quality cooks, because we had great talent back there, with Jason Powers and Eric and all those guys. But
they all kind of had something else going on.
Every one of them.
Yeah. It wasn't their passion or their thing.
Well, we were always their second job because we paid them half as much as their first job.
Yep.
And so we were always desperate to have, to keep, kitchen staff that could work hours. And you were like, I don't know, I'm supposed to give it a try. And I was like, could you start tomorrow? And then you did. You started cooking at the Sunshine.
Yep. Yeah.
And
that was a lot of fun.
It was. Yeah. And that was fun crew.
And the shows. Yeah.
So how did you figure out that you were really good at it? Because I think it's widely agreed. It's commonly agreed upon that you are very, very good at it.
So when I started at the Shine, I started doing features and like the daily lunch special and soups and stuff like that. And a lot of the locals started really reacting to it. And then they were talking to Phil and talking to Matt about it quite a bit. And I think Phil's parents were pretty obsessed.
Yeah, they really liked you.
Yeah.
And at the time we had this guy, his name was Brian, and he was our chef, and I put quotations on that because he was also a douchebag, but he was
douchebag without quotations.
Douchebag straight up. He we were struggling with him. He wanted more money, which I totally understood, but we didn't have any more money, and he was just starting to become what's the right phrase? A bleeding deacon. You guys know what that is? Yeah. He was kind of starting to just bring the entire kitchen down, and it was coming up on Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day was a pretty big it's a pretty big day for any restaurant, and Phil and I were talking. Probably 3 weeks before Valentine's Day, and we were like, fuck, this is going to be a goddamn disaster, and blah, 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 blah. And Phil said to me, what would you think about just giving Jenna a shot at it? And I'm like, Jenna's been here for 2 months, I
think it was 2. Yeah,
2
it wasn't
months,
very long.
Yeah. And he's like, dude, I'm telling you, I think she's got what it takes. And I said, well, she's super creative, and she's really good, but I mean, you think the rest of the guys could jump on board having this person who hardly has even worked in a kitchen.
And it's a boys club. Kitchens are boys clubs.
They can be for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, you were the only female we ever had working there.
Yeah.
You're also, by the way, the first female guest that we've premiered on the show.
Oh, so you're running a boys club too?
We're a boys club. Yeah. We don't want to be. We just don't like women. So, I mean, we're not misogynistic. We just think they're bitches. No, and I shouldn't say that because we were taken over by Meta and Christine, but that was their show, not really ours.
Yeah.
And then we
kind of
also
stepped aside for that one.
We had Trinity on for a short period of time, but anyway, so we were so Phil kind of talked me into it to say let's give her a chance, and we weren't just giving Jenna the Valentine's Day. We said. Came and sat down with you and said, hey, would you be interested in preparing a proposal menu for Valentine's Day? And then we'll talk about it and decide. And you were like, yeah, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, that fucking presentation was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my life. You came back, whatever it was, a couple of days later.
Yeah, probably a couple of days.
With not just a menu laid out, but with food cost analysis and all of the pictures, hand-drawn pictures. Did you keep it?
It's probably somewhere. But
You
I
should.
have no idea.
I would love to see it again. It was so awesome. And by the end of your presentation, I was like, we're sold. let's do it. Yeah. So we fucking shit canned Brian, which was,
I think it was after Valentine's Day, after we went through it.
No,
you got rid of him first.
I shit canned him first because there was no chance that Valentine's Day was going to be able to have two heads.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he always didn't. He never liked me either.
No, he tried to fire you like after.
He always said what other people were doing is what I was doing, and then he's like, Jenna's always on her phone, and I think it was you or Phil was like, Jenna doesn't have a phone. Right. How was she always on her phone?
Yeah. Here's a
Yowza.
Yeah.
So then you put this awesome menu together, but that's a part of it is this creative process, put the menu together, but then you got to actually like cook the food.
Execute it, yeah.
And do you remember how many plates we did that night?
I don't, but you just kept seating people like a madman.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
It wasn't my fault.
We were like through our reservations and we were just like seating them. Well, everybody was coming in. It was crazy.
We literally like sold out of food.
Everything, yeah.
And we fucking killed it.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one point in the night that I remember very clearly, and we are like so deep in the weeds and like shit's falling apart, and you were having a rough time. I think you threw a plate, and then
not me. I don't throw things.
You were upset. and I like kind of grabbed you and I said, we can do this. You have to pull us together. It's your team. Make this happen. That's as much time as I have. And I walked back out and I heard some yelling. And then, bam, fucking rest of the night just went great and we nailed it.
Yeah, we killed it that night.
And that was when I realized right then that like you had something more special than like you weren't just going to be a line cook. I felt like it was going to go on. And then I felt like I was stealing your time after that. But I was totally willing to do it. And then shortly, like 2-3 days later, Phil and I made the decision to promote you with at least a 25-cent an hour raise. I know it was just a ridiculous.
I think it was like 50 cents.
Okay, yeah, because we were awesome. It was all the money we had. But we were like, we needed a kitchen manager, like it was one thing to like do that, but we needed a kitchen manager, and we were like, it's got to be Jenna, man. We got to make Jenna the kitchen manager. But how do you convince these guys? And some of these guys have been working 20 years in a kitchen to like follow this chick who's been there for 2 months and whatever. And we just brought it to him, and we went in and said, hey, like Jason Powers was like, he was kind of our power behind the throne at the time. He like, if Jason said it was cool, it's cool. But all of those guys, Eric, and I think Eric was still there at the time. And we were like, we want to make Jenna our kitchen manager. What do you guys think of that? Can you support her? And unanimously, they were like, fuck yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. And they were, and that was great. And then you ran us right into the ground.
I'm going to blame that on Brian when we dived into the food cost at 70%. Yeah.
Well, the blame squarely lies upon my and Phil's shoulders. There's never any excuses. And yeah, 100% joking. You did an awesome job with that kitchen. And it was, about 6 months, I suppose?
Yeah, I think it was. There wasn't much time left after.
6 months is a decent amount of time when you're in your death throes. Man, try dying for 6 months. That's hard.
Well, we got the Wookiee foot show out of it.
We did get the Wookiee foot show out of it. That's cool. We were talking about that last week. I was so fucking pissed at the city council during that time.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But anyway, so we end up shutting our doors, and you're out of a job. And then, what happened?
I went to Applebees.
You did?
Yeah, just because I knew I could get a job immediately, because my friend Mindy worked there. Now she actually works for me at Prairie Bay.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah, so she was a manager there and got me hired.
So that was your first foray into really creative fine dining.
Yeah, that was it. And that was my first cooking job, was the Shine. And then I went to Applebees to lift up my
Right. She wanted to lift up
I wanted to lift up my skills, yeah.
Indeed.
I did that.
That said, though, Applebee's, like, all criticism aside, they run a very efficient kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, everything behind them, like being the corporation that they are, they have things figured out to a science.
Right.
You know, so like there's a reason their doors are still open.
Right.
And there's so many of them.
I loved hiring Applebee's cooks as their second job.
They're very efficient. They're all hard workers. They're very clean.
And if they're not, they don't make it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You have to be fast there. I mean, they're doing so much food.
Right.
Yeah.
But it isn't the pinnacle of creativity.
No, and that's where it started to kill me. I started to feel like I was working at a factory.
Right.
Like, you know, and there wasn't like much to do. You can't have features. You can't, you know.
Right.
And I basically was like, I can't do this anymore. And I walked out and I walked across the street to Prairie Bay. And I didn't have a car at the time, and I didn't have a phone.
Well, that's a scary walking across the street because you could die walking across that street.
Yeah, and I just walked over to Prairie Bay and put in my application, and then that's when I met Matt Anand. They had me immediately come back because it was summer.
Right.
And we always need help in the summer for catering.
Right.
And he's just mad chopping romaine, and it's flying everywhere, and his crazy hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just looks at me. He's like, "Can you cook?" And I was like, "I think so." And I'm watching him, and I'm like, "Not like you, though." And he's like, "All right." He's like, "You want to come in Friday for a stage?" And then that was it. Yeah.
I remember when you first told me that, I was so excited for you because, I mean, I've always been just a huge fan of Matt Anand. Mm-hmm. Matt, if you don't know, Matt Anand is a local chef who was the chef at Prairie Bay, started Prairie Bay, but he started out actually as a cook, but then eventually became the sous chef of Ivan's on the Bay, mm-hmm. and was kind of mentored by one of my local heroes, who is Mark Nesham, who now owns the Wings Cafe out at the airport that I can't shut up about. Because it's this little shithole diner that has like phenomenal fucking food.
I haven't been there yet, but we keep talking about going there for breakfast. Yeah, it's
the best. It's exactly what I want to talk about, is this mouth-watering food. But yeah, he just does it's a very dinery. You know, like I think I said the other week, it's like walking into a Dennys, but like he bakes his own bread. Everything's super fun.
It's like walking into a Dennys, except it's not like 8:00 Sunday morning, and I'm not hungover as fuck. And
no, 8:00 Sunday morning, the food's fantastic. Walk in there, hungover as fuck will be perfect.
No, it's my only experiences with Dennys involve alcohol.
Actually, I don't even know that I've ever been in a Dennys. It's just what I think a Dennys should look like. Yeah, and then Matt Anand went on to do that, and then eventually you got under that wing.
Yeah. I spent the last 5 years with Matt, so yeah, he's kind of like a chef dad to me.
Yeah. And he's a fun
Obi-Wan.
An Obi-Wan. I love that, man. He's a fun guy. Like, I remember one of my favorite Matt Anand stories was I was at a farmer's market, and he had the truck there, the Prairie Bay truck or whatever, mm-hmm. and he was doing like a food demonstration thing, and he went around to all the different, vendors and bought different things, and came back and in front of all these people was like, okay, today we're going to make BLT sushi.
Yep.
And I was like, no, you're not. That's a crime against sushi. Like, you can't do it. And it was so fucking good. Mm-hmm. I was like, BLT sushi sounds disgusting, but it wasn't at all. And he was doing it all with just the shit that they had there. It was so good.
Yep. So that's he's like a wizard like that too.
I do not know Matt, but that's, which is kind of funny because he's from Bacchus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't know that about Matt. I'm sorry, Matt. That you're from Bacchus. We make a little bit of fun of Bacchus.
But I've heard good things. He's a cool guy. I know I think he used to be a really good skateboarder, actually.
Really? I didn't know that.
Mm. But well, I mean, that's because I was fucking, in the 80s, probably like late 80s or some shit. I think he's like a year or two older than us.
Oh. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I really started to get to know Matt. I don't know why we're talking so much about it, but I started to get to know him when at the farm in St. Matthias, because he was very integral into bringing local food into the restaurant. I mean, pretty much Prairie Bay had to be like the first place to do that around here, I think.
I think so, for sure.
At least purposefully. Yeah. It wasn't just like, oh, I got a good deal on kohlrabi, I'll bring that in. It was like he was actively working with local farmers to bring local food in. And that's a tradition you've really continued on, right?
Yeah. I just feel like it's necessary for our community because like we all want that. Like we all want to be eating that. So I think that it's like crucial. And then the places like the farm can strive and Sprout can grow. And you know, it's really important.
And just recently, or was it recently, you became a board?
Oh yeah, I think just a couple weeks ago. I'm a board member of Sprout now, so that's kind of cool. Yeah,
that's super awesome. Do you want to explain to them what Sprout is? No,
I don't. I don't really know what my role is yet.
Oh, right, as a board member.
Yeah, I just like motion things.
Yeah, perfect.
And say I agree. Yeah. Yeah. The first like half hour.
Do they give you a gavel?
No.
Fuck.
I feel like we should have gavels.
Dude, if I could have a gavel. Like I actually have one on my desk at work. They got me at work because when we run our staff meeting, I'm like, we need to follow Robert's Rules of Order, guys. This is like the most unproductive thing in the world. And of course, we never do. But they got me a gavel just because I was being a jerk about it. And I like my gavel, but I never get to use it. So what is Sprout?
So Sprout is basically a nonprofit organization that pulls in all the local farmers in Minnesota, well, pretty much central. I mean, it's kind of hard to get produce from far once you reach I would say like 3 hours is almost their max.
Yeah.
So it pulls in all this produce and animal products from all the central Minnesota farmers into one hub. And then they have coordinators that basically get with each restaurant and try to sell and get it into there. And they're also giving it to the co-ops, and they're just really pulling in all the local products that they can find and pushing them out into the communities. So,
yeah, they do a really great job.
And then they also do tons of stuff with
like events down there.
Yeah, the events and stuff down there are like insane.
So I know a lot about this pro organization, though I've never been a part of it. I just have done a lot of work for them and done some video production stuff for them and stuff. But yeah, they bought the, or they didn't buy, but they got a place in the old Crestliner building down in Little Falls, which is this humongous industrial, crazy building. And they were, through some grants and stuff like that, they were able to like build this amazing food hub where they have like amazing, refrigeration storage. They have 2 commercial kitchens, all this like prep area. It's all licensed. So like, let's say you, Kyle, decided you wanted to make some raspberry jam and you wanted to like, can it and sell it.
Is jam with or without the seeds? Because that's my favorite thing about raspberry jam. Preserves. Yeah,
I'm not sure what it is. We could ask. I don't know if we had a chef. You're like, I don't know. It tastes good on bread.
It's you know what made me figure that what made me discover that I was a big texture eater. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, because I insist on crunchy peanut butter, and I really prefer like whatever preserves or whatever the hell with seeds in it, as opposed to So that tells me that it's not even like, yeah, sure, the taste is great, but I need those textures.
Well, I'm gonna chew on some sand later just to like get us some texture, and that'll be good.
Eat my you can have my sandal.
So, so they have this amazing place down there, and then like you said, they get with all of these local restaurants and they sell to them. Then they also do their CSA, which is that's CSA stand for shared something or other, but it's where you buy a subscription.
I love that you think CSA stands for shared.
Well, I think shared is the second one. Community Shared Agriculture.
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's like you buy a share to the garden essentially, and then once a month or once every week, whatever it is during their season, you get a bunch of these vegetables. And then the other big thing they do is the farm to school. So they sell produce to schools, and they sell to all these different schools, and a fucking shit pile of food.
This is awesome. That does sound like a cool organization.
Awesome. Yeah.
And how it kind of started, I don't want to get too deep into this because it's not mine. It's not about me. It's about Jenna. But how it first started kind of was that like the farm in St. Matthias, Arlene Jones and Bob Jones, who eventually I want to have those crazy fuckers on here. But they had this little farm, and they were like, trying to do this whole model, this CSA, and they were trying to to sell to restaurants, and they started selling to Matt and everything, and it was going okay, but they were just working so much because they weren't good at growing everything they needed to grow. They couldn't do mint and lettuce and all of this stuff. They were struggling with having this diversity of crop, but they were super fucking good at growing tomatoes, right? They knew they could grow tomatoes, but they were just like, I don't want to grow all this other shit necessarily. They'll grow some, but they really wanted to focus on growing these tomatoes. But you can't be a farm that just sells tomatoes. Mm-hmm. No, nobody's going to buy a CSA for fucking tomatoes. Mm-mm. So they're like, well, we're good at tomatoes. And then these other guys up the road are really good at this. They grow this hydroponic romaine, yep. which is by far the best romaine ever. Yeah, so good. Yeah, that's salad that you guys do over there. What is it? Is it just your Caesar? Or?
We have the straight up Caesar that it's on, and then the cranberry chicken salad.
Oh, the cranberry chicken. Yeah. That one's the best. Yeah. So they were like, well, okay, so now we do tomatoes. Now this guy can do our romaine. Oh, well, these fucking Amish guys over there are just badass at growing whatever, Famunda cheese. So they ended up kind of gathering, a dozen farmers. And then now that grew into, I think they're up to like 130 or something farmers that they have this collaborative with. And it's pretty neat. And it's pretty, like, we're one of the only like local food hubs. We're one of the biggest rural local food hubs in the nation.
That's insane.
It's pretty awesome.
It's a good spot for it, though. Really, I mean, as far as where everything is situated in the state,
perfect spot. Mm-hmm. Yep, Little Falls is perfect because the Amish communities are all over in the Staples Motley area. They go all the way down. I mean, they cover a vast area. So yeah, it's very, very cool.
And I mean, really, like you said, like 3 hours is kind of like an approximate mark. But like after you get 3 hours away from here, like. Even to the south, they do a lot of farming down there. But have you ever been down there? It sucks.
There is actually a really cool food hub down in Minneapolis, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's the guy who started Two Gingers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and also Summit, or not Summit. I mean Finnegan's. Kieran is his name. Is that guy from Ireland? I don't know.
I was going to say that. Sounds legitimately Irish.
But he's doing, his big thing was he was kind of annoyed that everybody was so vegetarian, and so he focuses on proteins, and it's a really neat. Yeah, it's a really neat. I was supposed to go tour it because Arlene got tickets or got
I can grok that,
and I couldn't. Thank you. I'm glad you can grok that. Anyway, okay. So Sprout, awesome.
Yep.
But all of that conversation was to lead into one of the coolest things that they do are some really awesome events there.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they have this huge warehouse, and then there's this huge there's the kitchen shit, but then there's this huge area that's like open, and they do all sorts of crazy shit. Like they do a year-round farmers market during the winter and shit like that. But they do these things called minced.
Yep.
Which is like if you've ever seen the show Chopped. Right?
Yep.
It's like a competition or
a timed competition.
Yep. And this year
sounds like stuff that you'd lose fingers in.
I did cut my hand.
This year, Jenna was one of the competitors in Minced.
Yep.
And it was fucking cool. And I have the Team Jenna shirt.
Yeah, it was.
This is actually how I found out what hashtags are about.
Yeah.
I don't actually know if that's true.
Yeah, I ended up with the People's Choice Award, which was really cool. I had a lot of friends and family that came down. A sea of Team Jenna shirts.
There were a sea of Team Jenna shirts.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, the first round I was so scared.
Yeah.
Like they pulled out all the ingredients and like fucking potatoes is what got me. I got hung up on potatoes because all the apps in my head that I had planned had nothing to do with potatoes.
Right.
Yeah. And so I just was like, okay, you got to figure something out to do, but I'm just going to start cutting these potatoes till I figure it out.
And that was the one where because you got to plate these things for the judges.
Yep.
And you were you were just right at the end? You were really...
Yeah, I was throwing, like the TV show Chopped, I was literally throwing the slaw onto the lettuce wraps at the end.
Right.
And I totally missed a plate and it went over the edge.
Right.
And so that judge did not get the slaw on their lettuce wrap. Yeah.
So they do a year-round farmer's market.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's super cool.
I've been wondering about that because I've like I started going to farmers markets for beets because I use a lot of we juice my beets and stuff for like heart health and whatnot. But I don't want to just get beets at the regular grocery store and stuff. So I was like, what are my possibilities in the winter going to be like? Maybe that's something I should look into.
Is your love of Battlestar Galactica why you like beets so much?
No.
Bears, beets,
Battlestar Galactica.
Best.
So say we all.
So say we all. So so for first one, then like what was the second course?
Well, the first one was the lettuce wraps, and I was shaking so bad I couldn't cut potatoes. And then they gave us about 15 minutes in between while the judges decided and wrote down their comments. And I just focused in, and I looked around the pantry and everything, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a pho no matter what they give me. I've made sure I had all the main components that I needed.
What's a pho?
It's
what
like
the fuck is a pho?
Pho.
It's when you look at what they gave you and you're like, pho.
Yeah, but it's like the brothy noodle bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then we had lamb, and I can't remember the rest of the stuff in there. But when I was cutting the lamb, it was the weirdest lamb I've seen. It's little T-bones, and so we had to cut the lamb off the bone, and there wasn't much meat. And while I was doing that, I had my super sharp sashimi knife that Matt Mason gave me, and it went right around the loop of the thing and just sliced my finger. And I didn't want them to stop me and try to put a Band-Aid on it, so I just put 3 sets of gloves on really quick and just kept cooking. And nobody noticed except for Tommy, one of our expos. He was I heard him yell it in the crowd, "She cut her finger!" And I was like, "Shh,
yeah, shut the fuck up, dude."
Shut up, Tommy. Yeah. But so then that one I was really focused, and I finished with, I think at least 20 seconds remaining. I was just adding random shit at the end. Yeah.
This was a super fun event to go to, because they were filming it. It was on PBS. Is that what it was for?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I never found out when it was on or anything like that. But
yeah, and then I think the Dispatch streamed it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, but it was cool because it was up on the screens. You could see it all. But the most disappointing thing is you couldn't eat the fucking food.
Yeah, you guys couldn't eat it.
Right. I was ready to go up there and choke a judge out to fucking get a bite of that because it looked delicious.
Yeah.
So then was it 4 courses or 3?
It was 3. So then after the second round, because there was only 3 cooks, were chopped. Someone goes home every round.
Right. So the first one.
The first one we all got a bye, but they still did that as they kept record of it. And that still counted to who went home.
Use it as a tiebreaker or something?
No. So it was me, Tom Cavanaugh, and Mateo McBee, and Tom Cavanaugh ended up going home after entree round.
After the second round.
Yep. And then it was Mateo and I against each other for dessert, and I think he did some kind of pancake. I can't remember.
And Mateo is a chef out of Minneapolis, right?
I think New London.
Where's New London?
The cities.
That's the same fucking thing. That's what I meant.
Yeah, he's opening 2 other restaurants, and he has Model Citizen right now. So
yeah. Super cool dude.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah,
super cool, and his food looked great.
Yeah, I did the harvest dinner with him too, so that was cool. And Tom Cavanaugh. So Tom went home, and then it was Mateo and I head to head, and I made ice cream in 20 minutes.
I know, that was what I wanted to bring up. So, and I know, well, actually I know from talking to you afterward, but you were fucking dead set on making ice cream.
Yeah, I thought that would seal the deal. If you make ice cream in 20 minutes, you get to win. Now, first of all, there is no ice cream maker. There was one back there, but Scotty tried to use it in the year before in Minst. Okay. And he said, "Don't touch the fucking machine because it doesn't work right." It's not. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, 20 minutes that's not very long to make ice cream. No. Right. So you made what's it called? No churn. No churn. No churn. No churn. Yep. Like sheet ice cream, right? So you can freeze it however, but I just wanted to put it on the sheet tray so it would freeze as fast as possible. Okay. So really thin. So it's just sweetened condensed milk. The flavor that you want, and then you whip heavy cream until it's almost like just before it's like super airy whipped cream.
Okay.
And then you mix that all in and you lay it out. And when it freezes, it's just velvety.
I'm
like
so
ice
fucking
cream.
hungry right now.
I know.
I haven't been hungry up till right there. It looked mouth-watering.
Hey, on the upside, you could have some of that stuff in 28 days.
Right. Perfect.
I'm just here to support you, man.
That's all. Anyway, so so you nailed this ice cream.
Yep.
And it was pretty impressive because I think the judges were really shocked.
Everybody was freaking out.
Like, it was a pretty ballsy move.
Yeah, they were like, you're not going to have time.
Right.
Yeah.
But you did.
Yeah.
And then you lost.
And in the moment of scraping the spoon across the tray and the ice cream just like swirled up, I was like, oh my God, I just won. Like in my head.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if the ice cream's perfect, then, like I really was just banking on that ice cream.
I lost to a fucking pancake.
Well, now you got to remember that it wasn't. It
was
judge.
all 3 courses into one, and like I was sloppy on my first course.
I can't fathom what his pancake was like either. It probably wasn't what I think of when I think of pancakes.
No, it was
pretty delicious.
It was like
actually.
crispy. It was almost like a crepe, is what it looked like to me. So it was a very dessert style pancake. Yeah. And like when it comes down to the bottom line, he was more consistent than me. He put out 3 fully executed plates, and I didn't get the slaw on one.
So when it was all said and done, so if it was like, so it's like an MMA fight. It's each round, right?
Yep. And there's sets of points that they're adding. And
so if this was like Pride style fight, right, where it doesn't matter what happens the first 2 rounds. It only matters what happens the third round unless you get submitted, right? Then I think Jenna just smoked it. But because that first round, that was the only mistake, was just missing the slaw on that last 2 seconds of that last dish.
Yep.
And he didn't fuck up.
Yeah, he executed every round, yeah.
But you did smoke Tom Cavanaugh.
Yeah.
Who is an amazing chef.
He's an amazing, and just an all-around super nice guy.
Super nice guy.
Yeah.
Really long time ago, I filmed a cooking competition with where he competed against, or wait a second, did he compete against somebody? I can't remember if he did or not. Yeah, I think he did. It was just 2 people though. And it was in Baxter, at that place that they had it was like a cooking place that is now, I think, kind of where, I don't know, the new Caribou.
Is that where they competed like every time you got to keep the house if you won, and then the next competitor tried to come in and take the house?
Yes.
Yeah, Matt had done that a few times.
That's a cool idea.
It was super cool. We filmed
really
it,
cool.
and it was an enormous amount of work to film, and we only did it once because we did it for free, and I wanted to like try it out, and I was like, oh my God, editing this together is taking me like a million years. It was today I could do it much easier than I could do it back then, but on the fly kind of thing. But back then it was a lot of work, but it was super fun, and that was the first time I met Tom Cavanaugh, and I really liked him. And Chad Miner, did you work with Chad at the Shine?
I don't think so.
Chad Miner is an amazing chef, who also is an amazing alcoholic.
A lot of times those go hand
I was
in
going to
hand.
say, and he works as a chef. Get the fuck out of here.
But he's like an amazing chef, and when he's sober, he's like amazing, right? But then he'll go a long time, usually years, and then he'll fucking fall off, and then he'll be a wreck. So
on one of the episodes, I talked about how like one day I was in the kitchen and I was like, fuck, I need some nice knives. And I'm like, should I just buy some knives? And then I decided, wait a minute. I'm like, I know a lot of chefs and they're prone to self-destructive behaviors. I'm just going to have these motherfuckers will me their knives. So I made a big thing about that. And of course, some of the responses were like, over my dead body, you'll never get your fucking filthy mitts on my knives. And I'm just like, oh, hey, jeez.
That's actually why I got up
and then they
locked my
personal
car.
message you, like how much money.
When I got here, I was like, oh, I didn't lock my car, and my knife roll sitting back there.
Oh, that's
not a joke. Knives are really, they're really expensive.
I have like $1,000 into that roll out there. Yeah,
that's an easy thing to do.
I thought about that conversation when you were talking about cutting yourself, because somebody had mentioned like how you usually cut yourself with a dull knife. And I was going to say, oh, you cut yourself with a sharp knife?
Yeah, well, it just like swooped. It was like way sharper than I even thought it was, you know? It just like, yeah.
That's bullshit. That you cut yourself with a dull knife. Like, dull knives are dangerous to use because you have to use more force, so on and so forth. But when your knife is so fucking sharp, actually, I have a story about Chad Miner. He was teaching a class over at that place that they used to own. I can't remember what it was called. And he was talking about knife safety in front of all of these people. Like, he had 20 people sitting there, and he's teaching, and he's talking, and he's got his knife, and he says, you know, and you always want to make sure you know where and he fucking slices the palm of his hand with this razor sharp knife. And then he's like, he closes his hand, and he's like, well, that was really stupid. I just nicked myself.
Yeah.
Hospital. He had to end up going to have stitches. He had a scar across his head. Teaching a knife safety class. That's as bad as teaching a gun safety class and shooting yourself in the foot, which is in a great YouTube video, by the way. Go back. So you did end up losing to Mateo.
Yep.
But you got the People's Choice Award.
People's Choice.
But I felt like it was a really awesome showing. And
yeah, it was really
fun.
It was my first, I think it was like around one of his like 13th-ish or something like that, 10 to 15. He's done a lot of cooking challenges. And then it was my first. And then you have Kavanaugh, who's just like a career of cooking challenges.
The thing about Tom, and I love Tom, but he's not doing anything else. He's
doing Pro Start right now, which is really cool. He's I think really involved with that.
I don't know what that is, but
so it's like I think it's out of Staples at the CLC out there. I'm not 100%. It's like high school kids, and he's teaching them culinary skills.
Okay, but he's not running 15 restaurants.
No,
right, no. And doing all of this other crazy stuff. Because I mean, I know like your main job, the executive chef at Prairie Bay, like that doesn't take any time or energy or anything. Right, that's just on autopilot now, right? And then
it still does.
So you're able to just put pause on all of that and then focus all of your energy on doing.
Or when you walk, or when you leave the office at the at the end of the day, like you don't even have to think about the place until you come in the next day,
right?
Right.
Yeah, that's funny. My wife will tell you a different story.
I was going to parlay into your wife.
Yeah.
So yes, I've known Rena just a little bit longer than you. Rena is also worked for me at the Sunshine Kitchen Moonshine Lounge. I always tell the story about when we hired her. Like she was living in Duluth, and we had made an appointment, at whatever it was, 3:00 for her to come down for her interview. And there was a fucking blizzard. I mean, it was a blizzard. Like we were going to close. We were talking about closing that day because I'm like, should we just close it up? Is it even safe for us to be open? And Phil's like, well, I don't know. I got this interview at 2. Like, we can't, And I'm like, nobody's going to show up for a fucking interview in a blizzard.
Especially driving from Duluth.
And that's a great way to get hired, though, because like, who the fuck does not give you the job after you drive through a fucking blizzard, like all the way from Duluth?
So she was like 5 minutes late, and she comes in covered with snow. She goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm late. The roads were just horrible." And Phil said, "You're hired."
Damn right.
That's it. There's no interview. There's no process. There's nothing. He just said, "You're hired." Because he's like, you just drove like 5 hours to get here
with the
in a blizzard, and you showed up. You're hired. And I can't remember. I'd have to ask her the story, but I think her car broke down. And she
on the
left.
way back,
or did she? And then she ended up coming back. Like,
yeah, she got a ride back, and then I think Phil was like, she called Phil, and she was like, "I can't take the job. I'm sorry." She's like, "My vehicle broke down, and I'm stuck in Duluth now."
Okay.
Like it broke down on the way, and I think she got like someone came and got her, and then she's like, "I can't take the job," and Phil's like, "I have an Astro van."
Oh, right.
So she came down, and Phil gave her the Astro van.
Yeah, we made no bad business decisions. But Rita ended up being awesome, and like it's weird because I still to this day work with her in her day job. Yep. We work together. So I never ever hear about how busy you are. I never hear that.
How I get off work and then keep working at home.
No, like it doesn't come up very often, other than like when somebody will say like, "Hey, do you want to do something on Wednesday night or whatever?" No, that's Jenna's only night off. And like nothing, like or whatever it is. Like it's like there's zero chance that I am going to do anything with anybody else. So, So you are our only, you are our first female, but obviously after talking about your wife, you're also our first homo, which is great. You're part of the homo gay community.
Yeah.
That's the politically correct one, right?
Yeah, homo
I
gay.
get really confused.
Homo gay is definitely.
Beforehand, Kyle was saying.
I was just talking earlier. I was like, well, man, I'm like, the Supreme Court is hearing like 3 cases today that are like hugely important, and like it's like, and these are civil rights causes that I've been like, like all about for many years now. And, but even I like sometimes can't keep track of the nomenclature. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, in these 3 I'm like, all 3 of these cases have, like there's huge ramifications to the LBGTMOUSE. I'm like, I mean, I don't mean any disrespect. It's just a lot to keep track of. Shit, like that many letters. I'm the guy that can't keep track of his own fucking mailing address.
Yeah. I just like, I don't like labels at all. I'm just a human. I'm just trying.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was like, well, so you're a so I've owned restaurants and cafes and shit, like, throughout my life, and now I'm completely done with that. But like, I've had a lot of people that have connected, at my restaurant or at my coffee shop or and have gone on to like, become couples and whatever. And you two are one of my favorites, like, because you guys just like hit it off and whatever. And you had like this super cool wedding.
Yeah, the wedding was awesome. That was at St. Matthias Farm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you were talking before, because I was making a little bit fun of your name because it's very long, but tell that story.
So I basically told Rena that she could do whatever she wanted with the wedding. I mean, down to colors, everything, as long as we combined our last names and did not hyphenate. And we brought back the Von that used to be in front of her name, which her family removed after the World War II because they didn't want to be associated with Germany. And so we brought that back.
Why didn't they want to be associated with Germany?
I don't know. I don't think Germany likes to talk about that.
There was some stigma back then, It wasn't all very fine people on both sides or whatever the hell we do. How we talk about it now.
Yeah.
That reference. Okay. So, there I go. Okay, with the politics again. The very fine people on both sides was. I believe that's the quote from our 45th president after that white supremacist march.
Oh, yes, yeah.
There's some trouble and stuff. That's the one that people always bring up. That very fine people on both sides.
Very fine
That's
people on
where
both
that came
sides.
from. Sometimes my references are obscure and shitty.
Yeah, there are some very, very fine white supremacists out there.
Very fine.
Yeah.
But I am like, and I mentioned that I love that move. Like the Von is awesome. And I told you guys about like my buddy Metzger. Like, I'm like, well, that sounds like Von Metzger. Like if you have a German sounding name, I'm probably going to attach a Von to it because it just sounds that cool.
Yeah, Siebolds is German and so is Brower, so it just felt right to do it. But I definitely regret it now because when you're telling the bank how to spell your name or you're on your phone doing something and then you have to be like BROWER space VON space.
I just always think it sounds like Baron Von Siebolds, like
Von Lichtenstein.
Like, yeah, we were talking earlier about the greatest movie of all time. Is now what it's been elevated to. But A Knight's Tale, and that was Chaucer's character was, when he was introducing the knight, he was like, and the greatest man I ever lived, Baron von Lichtenstein. I just thought that was great.
And the young Robert Baratheon.
The young Robert Baratheon was in there?
Yeah.
He was one of the, he was one of his buddies, Chaucer, and, and then the big burly guy and shit. God,
I'm going to have to go back and watch it again. It's been a while.
Even I know that. I didn't even like that movie. Then again, I have fucking, that's like this kind of thing that I would remember because it's fucking useless.
So okay, where were we at? You got married. She's cool. You're gay. That's cool. What else? So yeah, we were talking. Your wedding was out at the farm in St. Matthias.
Yep.
Super wonderful. Very cool wedding. And then you kind of have continued that relationship with them. I know you just finished doing the 10th annual harvest dinner. Is that what it was called?
Nope, the Farm to Fork.
Farm to Fork.
Or
yes.
yeah, Farm to Fork. Yep.
Yes, we were there and we didn't know what it was called. So
I was there and I almost didn't know what it was called.
That was dope. I was that just the last episode where I was talking about like my blonde or my bland wasp taste buds, and like I am that guy that that people the whole stereotype like the stereotypical white guy that mayo is spicy, like that shit. And how now I get to now I'm super excited to experience different foods and stuff, because a lot of this shit is just like so new to me because it's not because it's not potato salad,
Well, what was the appetizer you did out there that was spicy? I can't remember what it was.
I did.
And it wasn't like it was super spicy by most
That's
people's
kind of what we were
standards.
joking about. Because I was just hogging shit down, and
I think I had a harissa paste that I had used in
the
an
thing
aioli with the pickles.
Yeah.
The quick pickles.
Because I was kind of kidding that it was a cucumber, but it really was a cucumber.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I just quick pickled them.
Yes.
Like 2 days max, I think. And then I made a spicy harissa sauce.
Kyle took a bite of it. It was turns bright red and is freaking out.
And me, I'm like, ooh, I do declare,
And I was like, Kyle, it's a fucking cucumber.
Oh shit!
It was awesome. So that was super fun. The fucking food was off the charts.
Thank you. I was really nervous about it. Obviously Matt Anand had built that up for the 9 years before that. So it was a very big shadow and very big shoes to fill.
For sure.
So I was really, really nervous, and I wanted to do something super rustic, and I kind of wanted to bring it would be like if you were coming to Bob and Arlene's house for dinner,
right.
which you literally were coming to Bob and Arlene's house for dinner. So I really wanted to play off their flavors and their palates from,
right.
I fed them a lot, so I kind of know their flavors. So I really wanted it to be like it was what they cooked and what they would make from the stuff they took from their farm.
And it's a bitch, man. There's 70 people, 80 people this year?
Yeah, I think it was a lot bigger. I think it was only 40 some people the year before.
Right.
So yeah, really big.
Yeah, I know they were sold out. I know it was crazy. So I know because Kyle and Christine, they had to shove them around because they didn't have places for them.
But the thing that didn't faze me. And I mean, they sat us right next to my friend Bobby that I went to high school with and stuff. And that was great. I love that event. The only thing was I wish I wanted with so many drinks that I didn't get to really slow down and enjoy the food as much as because I was super enjoying the food too. Mm-hmm. It was so good.
Well, the first course that I called it chili, but that's not what you called it.
Yeah, it kind of ended up being more of a
delicious.
chili because once I put the chorizo in, all that flavor kind of came out, and I really wasn't thinking about that.
I could have shot that shit.
Because it was going to be a chorizo and potato stew, which still had the tomato base of a chili.
Yeah.
But all that flavor really pushed out as it sat into the rest of it. So it was just this very interesting chili.
It was fucking delicious.
Elevated.
I would have shot it intravenously.
Yeah.
It was so good. And I was surprised because I was actually messaging Kyle.
Does taking that intravenously actually is that allowed in your with your fast?
Well, I've been doing chili enemas, so I think it's okay. Just to get a whiff of it. I was worried because it was a little bit spicy, and I was messaging Kyle are you okay? But you had no problem with that spice.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah. Well, you had the creme fraiche in there to cool it, and
I totally could have strapped a fucking bucket to my head. It was so good. And that was, and it was early enough that the drinks weren't piling up yet.
Yeah.
Because my wife doesn't drink.
So you were like, getting double of everything.
Yeah. So,
and everybody was getting 3 drinks.
Every time there's
course.
three a pop, So I'm getting 6 every time, and I'm like, whew, all right,
And Kyle obviously let them go to waste.
Right. We don't waste anything.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. We have talked about it before, but what a fucking horrible idea. 5 courses.
Well, it's normally just beer versus wine, and we were like, it's the 10th year. So Nick Miller is like, we got to top it all with 10 years and go ahead and throw some alcohol in there.
I was super happy with that too, because I think how I wound up voting. I think I wound up voting for mostly the cocktails.
Yeah, they were fucking great. Dave is his name, right?
Yep, Dave.
Yep. He is the mixologist at Prairie Bay.
Yep.
With you. Fucking super talented.
Yeah.
And
he has I'm pretty sure he has a pretty big hand in writing the menus for all the restaurants too. I think he helps with those, and
really,
I'm not sure to what extent.
Super good.
We should
Very
go in
creative
there
shit.
We should go there. We should go in there for a meal and then just sit there and get fucked up one of these nights. Because I was like, I was just so impressed across the board. That would be. Sounds like
and when we start having stuff like like this is like thyme infused, fucking simple syrup and shit like that. I mean, it was like really, really interesting stuff. But yeah, okay, eat some chili, drink a beer, a wine, and a cocktail. Then have something else. Then drink some beer and a wine and a cocktail, and then something else and a beer and wine. By the end, we're fucking hammered.
Yeah.
So you're responsible for my concussion. I mean, actually, technically, I think that.
Did you actually wind up with a concussion?
Yes.
I blame Seth Dowd.
Christine. He's partially to blame.
That's who I blame.
Actually, no. In all honesty, Christine is 100% to blame.
Yes. We were left unsupervised. Well, no, we were supervised. It's just we weren't supervised very well.
Well, no, it's like if if you hire a babysitter that you're not paying, and then that babysitter allows the child to fall down the stairs because that child is wasted, then it is obviously that babysitter's fault.
That just totally reminded me of like the beginning of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Like, hey, what are you doing? You guys just gonna leave these fucking babies here? That's some great parenting. The fat one's watching the little one. like that's that situation.
God, it's been a while since I see that, but I remember really liking Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Well, they just did a sequel or some shit like that. Which I actually thought about, like, I should bring that up on the show because I love Jay and Silent Bob so much. Honestly, the last time I tried to watch it though, I was like, not feeling it. But maybe that just means that I'm getting fucking old.
To me, Dogma, that's my favorite Kevin Smith movie of all time. Well, Chasing Amy, maybe a little more important, but Dogma was like, I just thought Dogma
was pretty good.
Yeah, Dogma was good.
Great lines in that one.
But for me, honestly, it might be Mallrats.
Mallrats is great, but it was, I probably watched Dogma 6-7 times. I think I watched Mallrats twice or something. So this is very important. So we got fucking hammered, but man, the food was fantastic.
Well, thank you.
And then we did go out and see Seth Dowd, and then I did actually end up getting a concussion. And you were also responsible for me not making it to the next day's walk a mile in her shoes. So it's all on you. 100% on you.
And Dave and Seth.
Yeah.
Should we take a break?
Tripod.
Yeah, I gotta do a potty break. So. All right. Well, we'll take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll continue on with Von Siebolds. Welcome back to Spitball. I'm Matt Taylor here with my good buddy
Kyle Amundsen.
And again, we have Jenna Brower Von Siebolds in the house.
I almost went with Von Amundsen, but no, it just does not have that nice sound to it.
No, that's not very German.
No, not German at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there weren't very many Nazi Vikings.
Like that 21andMe or whatever the hell that
it came back
genealogy
white
site. Dude, I am the whitest man alive. It was all like, congratulations, you're Irish and Norwegian and nothing fucking else. Like, oh goodness,
And 63% Neanderthal. that died out.
That was the cool thing.
27 years ago.
All those Neanderthal markers, I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. Because I checked out the average.
You were like, wow,
like,
that's a big surprise.
Right?
Weird.
No wonder I don't need to wear sunglasses. But that shit was cool, man. I was like, that was the, because I was hoping for something interesting, and that was the only interesting part. That I'm that I've got so much good Neanderthal gene.
I would like to do it. I'm like actually like a Heinz 57. I don't have more than a 16th of anything, so because I'm like so diverse. So, yeah, craziness. What do you have on your list, Kyle? I know you had a couple of the things you wanted to talk about.
Man.
Let's jump in.
Well, I did, I wore my Interrupter shirt today because I've been listening to them a lot again lately. Maybe my favorite band right now. Got to see them in April. Great band, great punk / ska band. Ska is kind of a punk thing, but yeah, great ska band. Super fun, getting really popular. They've, some of their songs showed up on a commercial and shit like that. They're achieving some commercial success. They're a Tim Armstrong project. Tim Time Bomb Armstrong is the front man from Operation Ivy and then Rancid. He's now he doesn't like a lot of producing and stuff like that. Yeah, I got to see them down at the Varsity. We had a great, went down with a great group. My Zorbas people.
Where's the Varsity at?
The Varsity is in Dinkytown, Minneapolis. It was a great venue. Loved great venue. If you do wind up going to a show at the Varsity, don't go general admission. I mean, yeah, by all means, go general admission. But if you can get a table, that's the way to go. Then you don't have to you got a waitress that comes to you. Then you're guaranteed your great seats. Otherwise you're in fucking general admission. And every time you go get a drink or go to the bathroom, you're penalized. You're basically penalized. You got to fight your way back up to the fucking front. But yeah, that place is awesome. Great venue. Horribly, my only knock on. I mean, security was very professional. I was good. Kind of a.
How many of them did it take to throw you out?
Right. I did not throw any of them out, but I love that. But yeah, I love the venue. Super. I mean, yeah, except for really cocaine unfriendly bathrooms. But
can't stand
no flat surfaces. That show was fucking great, and that band is awesome. The Interrupters. I will put some shit on the Facebook page, so people can check out a couple of songs if they've never, because they are fucking good. And chances are you'll be hearing more from them. Let's see. So I got that.
Have you ever heard of these Interrupters? Hold your thought. You ever hear of these guys? No. I haven't either. But one of the things we've shared through the years is music. You used to come to all the Shine shows even before you started working there, or a lot part of that. But then you you and your lovely bride, you go to a lot of the festies shows, right?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely like the local festival scene music. Yeah.
And Shang.
Yeah, Shang. We go to Shang almost every year. We actually thought we were gonna miss it this year. Sorry. And we
Matthew Von Taylor.
And we showed up and surprised all of our friends on Sunday, the last day. So that was pretty fun.
I've only been to Shang one time, and you guys were there.
Yeah, so we brought you back to our campsite.
You did.
Yeah.
You didn't. No, that's like this, right? So I went down to Shangri-La right after the season after Wookiefoot came up. It was almost a year after Wookiefoot came up, but I went down as a guest of Wookiefoot. I didn't know what that meant. I already told the story, but it really just meant I had a ticket. So I got in, and I was in a sea of 10,000 hippies that I didn't know, and I knew a few people, but not very many. But I set up a campsite, and Rena and Jenna were like, no, that doesn't work for us. And they fucking picked my shit up and carried it to their area.
Well, which is good. It's great to know somebody because, as much as I love hippie kids, not as friendly as I think I mentioned that on the show. I'm usually not welcomed, not received super well, not with open arms or anything, because it's usually no thanks, officer. I'm like, oh, what? Fuck you guys. God, I'm not a cop.
Oh, you kind
sure
of look
you're
like
not
a cop. Yeah, you kind of look like a cop.
It's, I'm just like, fuck, man, I just want to play. Like, I feel like that left out kid. If you could pick them up
and bench press them, they probably think you're a cop.
Fuckers.
That and you're rubbing them down with wet wipes and shit. I mean, that's kind of an asshole.
No, I tried to blend in. I rub patchouli all over and shit.
Yeah.
Patchouli. Gross.
Have you watched Rudy yet?
No, I just had this conversation with Meta last night. So let me explain. I'm a fucking baby, all right? And I have to actually literally watch what I do alone because I can irreparably damage myself by watching a sad movie by myself, okay? And I have just this little bit of feeling that Rudy might be a tearjerker, okay? And I can't watch it alone. And Meta has been ridiculously busy.
How could she be busy? She's only got the day job, that project with the park, the
splash pad.
Yeah, the peeing thing in the big bathroom thing in the park, and 37 kids. So.
And she also sells tickets for all of the sports events. So she's going to all the football games, she's going to all the soccer games, she's going to all that shit. She's ridiculously busy. I
think she needs to prioritize a little. And
that's what I was saying.
Here's the deal, Meta. You need to think about my needs. Maybe, just shrug off on one of these responsibilities. Don't take so much on your plate. Think about what I need, and I need for Matt to watch Rudy. There's that. Otherwise, I'm going to turn him on to This Is Us.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so every time nowadays I can't watch This Is Us without thinking about because this show, it's a great show, and it's very popular. But they victimize you all the fucking time on there because they make me cry. That show, they're really good at just sucking you in and they just fucking get you. And and it's a really, really well done show, and they just know how to manipulate, babies like me. I don't know. It's I'm always like, Matt can never watch this show.
I was sitting there,
just cry all the fucking time.
I was sitting there at Meta's house the other day. All of the kids are, piled up on the couch, and they're watching Toy Story 3. Because Toy Story 4 is coming out apparently, or is out or whatever, but yeah, it's coming out, whatever. Now, I've seen Toy Story 3. I remember liking it, but not much, whatever. And this is 3/4 of the way through, and I got sucked in, and god damn it, the end is fucking sad, and I just fucking got tears streaming down my face, and I'm trying to hold it together because the kids are there. Of course, they're oblivious, so they didn't notice, but I was just I'm a fucking mess, man. I'm a fucking mess. I cannot yeah. It's easy to pull my heartstrings, man. I have bass harp strings. You know what I mean? A big, thick bass harp strings. You can play it like the Violent Femmes, man. It's just crazy. So.
Yeah. I'm kind of a crybaby too.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, that totally surprises me because you seem so fucking tough.
No, I'm so soft.
Really?
Yeah. Endgame.
Oh,
the intro. No, just the intro.
Oh man.
And I'm like, oh my god. I was like, Thanos hasn't snapped his fingers yet, and his family's gonna go away. And I just start crying, and Rena's like, why are you crying? And then I just point at the screen, and she's like, oh my god.
Yeah, that shit. That scene with Hawkeye and stuff. Yeah, shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Craig was talking about that when he was talking about how he tried to hold it together the third time he watched it because he was going with his daughter, and it got to the part where Tony Stark where the fucking holograph comes up and I love you
3000
and he's like, and then I just lost it, and I'm going Let's hold it together, man. I mean, I'm like trying to hold it together while we're talking about it on a goddamn podcast. I could fucking tear up over it.
I very seldom even fucking bother anymore, you know? Because like one like a lot of times when I'm watching stuff
bother
like
trying
that,
to hold shit together.
Yeah.
I mean like
I try for like 10 seconds and then I just let it go.
Let it go.
I'm not worried about Christine. You know, like I'm not worried about what, you know, Christine like thinking, oh, like, you know, it's Christine. Like if she sees like me being sensitive, she's gonna be like, oh, you know,
right?
And you know, like because we just watched.
If she sees you doing fucking anything, she does that.
It's true.
Ridiculous.
Got a good thing going. We just finished up the newsroom.
Oh, okay.
And you know,
last episode.
So, you know, and there's sad stuff, and then there's really beautiful stuff, and you're like, oh man, I love this show. I can't believe I don't have any more of it. But yeah, so we just finished up that, and I don't know how many times over those last 2 episodes I got all choked up and shit, and there were a few tears and stuff, and you know but even like out in public or whatever, don't even give a shit anymore, you know, like I mean I shouldn't say don't give a shit at all, like some places it would seem like inappropriate or whatever, but like overall I'm just like yep, I'm crying. Look at me funny and I'm gonna fuck you up. Beat your family.
But when you're sitting on a couch with, you know, 4 kids and Meta, and you're the only one bawling, it's
that's just because the kids have probably seen it goddamn 42 times.
Yeah. Or they're sociopaths. It's A or B. I don't know. But and man, it's fucking really sad, man. Gives his toys to that little girl.
Oh, man. Well, yeah.
And then Woody gets in there.
And then
it was.
Well, for me, like even songs, you know, like I stopped and had like a late lunch because I just got done at the gym and stuff before I came over here. So I stop in between and
fucking bring food up again.
Hey, man. And what the hell? What was it? Yeah, Wind Beneath My Wings comes on, and I'm like, oh. I mean, that didn't make me cry, but I'm still like, oh, that song, you know. I mean, it's not like I will like the Whitney Houston version of "I Will Always Love You" or something, but I mean, it's pretty fucking good.
I don't really, songs don't usually get me, but I do remember one day I was driving down the road in the middle of nowhere, and I didn't have a CD player or whatever. This was quite a while ago. The reference is dated. And I'm going through the channels, and I ended up on some fucking country channel. And I never listened to country music. It's just the one genre of music I just can never really connect to. Though I like some country style music and like old Johnny Cash I'm cool with. And
did you get fucked up by Tim McGraw, Don't Take the Girl?
That one makes me cry every time.
Damn right.
Every time.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Don't listen to it.
Yeah,
okay.
No.
Well,
it's not for you, Matt.
The song that got me, and I had to pull over. Like, I had to pull over and take a second. It was the fucking, I don't even know what the song's called, but it's about the guy who like is gonna live the rest of his life like he's, you know, whatever. He has cancer, survived cancer. I don't fucking know.
Is that
but
a Tim McGraw song too?
He gets on the bull name Fu Manchu.
Yeah. Is that Tim McGraw? I don't know who that is. But
I'm not sure who that is, but I know the song.
That shit was written to fuck me up.
The good stuff, maybe? I can't
Oh
remember.
my God.
Man.
I've only listened to it once. That's enough.
Live Like You Were Dying or something like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Man.
Yeah, so fuck that guy.
Great song.
Yeah, no, I seriously like had to pull over like and take a little rest. So I like a joke about it, but I'm not kidding. Like I really do have to kind of be careful. So like Meta's been very busy. It's not her fault. She's got a lot of shit going on, and I cannot watch Rudy by myself if I want to continue to live.
I don't want to hear those lame excuses.
So I told this story before, but remember like when I watched $1 Million Baby. Did you ever see $1 Million Baby?
Yeah,
it's about a girl who is a boxer, and her coach, who is played by
Clint
Eastwood, who also directed the movie or whatever. Super cool movie for like 3/4 of the way through. You know, he trains her, she ends up getting really good, and then spoiler alert, but fuck it, don't watch it. It's horrible. She ends up getting sucker punched after the end of a round, breaks her fucking neck, and is like dying, and she's begging fucking Clint Eastwood to kill her.
Oh my God.
Yeah, great fucking movie.
Why? Why would you make that?
Why would you make that? And I was watching it by myself one night, and actually I had the Eclectic Cafe at the time, and Amanda Schwarzkopf, who is a person who used to work at the Eclectic Cafe and now is doing some stuff.
Listening, I need to look up something quick.
So anyway, she's like, "What? Matt's watching $1 Million Baby by himself?" And like, I'm like, and they're like, "Yeah, why? Oh fuck, somebody's got to go check on him." Like she was afraid I was gonna make it through. Well, she was almost right. I fucking couldn't stop crying. It was so long that I was like, I finally like had to find something else funny, or I had to find something else to watch.
Yeah.
And I found Dave Chappelle's like first comedy special. So I always say Dave Chappelle saved my life. But as I was laying there on the couch bawling and listening to Dave Chappelle's comedy, I was like, "Oh, that's really funny." just tears streaming. Yeah. So thank you, Dave Chappelle. You've saved my life. If you would like to come on as a guest,
that would be amazing.
we'd be okay with that.
So earlier today, so this movie just came up. I was talking to Craig the other day, Craig Vensky, and we mentioned a movie that made this post made me think of. So Andy Cook posted earlier today that he was watching Mystic River, and I don't know if you've ever seen Mystic River, but it's yeah, not a lot of laughs. Not a lot of laughs. And so I posted on there. I'm like, well, you're gonna need a little pick me up after that, something cheerful and lighthearted. Maybe fucking Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, there you go. So that movie didn't make me cry. That movie was fucking just horrible.
Yeah.
I just wanted to die afterward.
Yeah, so depressing.
And by horrible, I mean, it wasn't a bad movie. I mean, they definitely executed their plan and shit. I mean, like that movie was exactly what it was supposed to be and brilliantly done.
That was the only movie with ass to ass that I've ever seen that I didn't like.
Right? Like I did not love that.
God, we need a drummer because that was a good one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. But that fucking movie, it was just dreary as fuck. That's the one Craig and I were talking about the other day. And he's like, yeah, that movie just fucked me up. I'll never need to watch that again. I'm like, oh, no. Yeah, if it were up to me, I wouldn't think about that fucking movie again.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
I've only watched it once.
Oh,
whoever's watched it
twice.
Like, you meet somebody that's watched that twice, and you need to maybe fucking walk the other way.
It's called a sociopath, right?
That's my favorite movie.
Yeah, no.
Okay, then. Bye-bye now.
Actually, you know what? My ex-wife Jess watched it twice. Or wait. No, could have actually been Jables. Fuck. Who got all confused. But whoever I watched it with, it was one of the Jesses. They had already seen it and were like, "You really should see this." And I was like, so I watched it and I was so fucking mad at them. I was like, what the fuck makes you think that's something I would enjoy? Like, what is wrong with you?
I think it is something that you should see once.
Nobody should see that.
I think it shows you it's clearly like your life should not go this way.
If you're on social media and you find out that that's one of somebody's favorite movies, yeah, unfriend that person.
I'm feeling like re-traumatized by this. We needed a trigger warning.
Okay.
I still just basking in the glory of the only movie with ass to ass I didn't like.
That
I'm gonna just hold on to
that was wonderful. Oh man. So on a lighter note, let me exercise that demon. So I just watched, I'm not a huge romantic comedy guy. Like Christine, he always wants to watch nerdy guy movies. Okay, right. That's true. Very, very true. You all know this. It's no fucking secret. But I watched, and my favorite romantic comedy was always 50 First Dates.
It's such a good movie.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
What? Oh my God.
I'm not okay. God damn it. So I have this fucking issue about watching shit alone. And I not only can I not watch sad shit alone, I can't watch.
If it can't be too happy.
I can't watch happy shit alone. Okay, it's got to be medium grade shit. Okay, like
your fucking taste in movies is like my bland wasp taste buds.
Well, kind of like Game of Thrones.
He doesn't want to mess up his emotions too much, so he's just gonna watch something boring.
I watched The Boys.
That's
Not
why you
boring,
love documentaries.
Good movies. But I watched The Boys. You know, but it was great. You know, fun, exciting, whatever. I was fine.
But you're not invested in it at all. You need to stay away from movies that you're invested in.
Right. And like Game of Thrones, I was invested in Game of Thrones, but that was cool. Like I got that. You know,
safe fantasy,
cool, right? But no, I'm not watching 50 fucking first dates by myself. So unless I was with somebody who was interested in watching that, yeah, homie ain't watching that.
Well, it was it's a good one, and it's probably still my favorite. But I just watched Long Shot.
Okay.
With what the hell's his name? Seth Rogen.
Okay. I love Seth Rogen.
And Charlize what the hell?
Charlize
Theron.
Charlize.
See, I thought we just talked about tough names. Her name is short and it's still tough. But yeah, those two, Long Shot was a fucking wonderful, really fucking funny, smartly done romantic comedy.
I've heard that. I didn't watch it because I thought it was just going to be like totally stereotypical.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
but then I heard like all the one-liners and everything were excellent.
Yeah. And it's really fucking good.
So I saw your post on Facebook and I put some thought into it. And I got to tell you, I don't have a huge romantic comedy like backlog to choose from. But I actually did put a little thought into it. And I think the movie and I think it's a romantic comedy, but Shakespeare in Love. That was my favorite.
I thought you were going to say Anything.
Say Anything. No, actually, I fucking hated John Cusack.
God, I love that movie.
I hate John Cusack. But I did see a post the other day about that. I don't even know. Was it you? I don't know. But it was like this fucking like kid walking down the road with a hat pulled down, and he just looked all tough. And the meme was like, I don't know, but whoever owes that kid $2 better just fucking pay up. And I thought, that was a great.
I saw that too.
That was a great. Better off dead quote. But no, I've always had I've never really cared for John Cusack until the movie Gross Point
Blank. Popcorn.
Great movie. Yeah, what do you do? I'm a professional assassin. Oh, it's a girl's business. You know, just like there's a lot of fun shit in that one.
Yeah.
But I really loved Shakespeare in Love. That's the only one that I can think of that I like, that a romantic comedy that I've like watched more than once.
I did not super love that movie.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't. I liked it just because I like Shakespeare and I thought that like the language was cool in it, and yeah, I don't know.
It's a good cast. I finally watched the reboot of Hellboy.
Oh yeah,
that was like that. Okay, people fucking hated that.
Yeah, all I heard that was garbage.
I actually really liked it. I
so
super
apparently
enjoyed it.
The guy who played Hellboy is the sheriff in Stranger Things.
Also the 10 o'clock guy on the Newsroom.
And I was like, what? He's like
I'd probably like that then.
He's like an old chubby dude.
I like Hopper.
Oh,
yeah, Hopper
man.
was great.
Yeah.
But like Hellboy?
Right?
I mean, Hopper and Hellboy kind of have the same humor.
Yeah.
It's very, yeah.
I could totally see
Yeah.
it. Like when I was watching the show, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay, like this is not a fucking stretch at all. You know, he's great.
What, they put him in a girdle?
You know, I mean, he pulled it off. You know, and I was used to, like, I like Ron Perlman. I like the Ron Perlman Hellboy.
Yeah.
But he was like, it didn't skip a beat, didn't lose anything, and it was really good. And I can't remember his name. The guy that played Swearingen in Deadwood, and he played that priest that kind of helped turn the Hound around in Game of Thrones. He plays.
Yeah.
He's in American Gods. And he's all kinds of shit. I wish I could think of his name. He's in there. He's great. What's her name? Uli or whatever from why can't I think of it now? With Bruce Willis, Fifth Element.
Lilu.
What? Yeah, Lilu. Yeah.
Lilu.
What the hell? What her name? Anyway, she's in there. She's good.
Shit, I know her name. I was just thinking about The Fifth Element the other day.
Well, that's a fucking great movie.
Yeah, when we were talking with Gavin about the vape industry thing, I was just thinking, like, if they kill vape, like, everybody will be smoking to get in, and eventually it'll be like fucking, it'll be like Bruce Willis with a filter this long and a little tiny cigarette on the end. And I was like, that's a prophetic show.
But yeah, that's The Expanse coming up here in December.
Is it their
season?
They are? Oh, awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen The Expanse? No?
No.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Good.
We'll call it like a space opera kind of thing, but it takes place like in our, solar system.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's really well done and very it's not like there's no fucking warp drive or everything.
and it's very much written for grown-ups.
Yeah,
this is
it's
not
an
for your
adult
kids.
kid. Yeah, but I mean, it's not like
not because it's so raw, just because
like
it's so sophisticated.
Yeah, it's smart, very smart. Yep. And then I got into the books and I just loved them. I was actually just looking because he's supposed to. I think there's another one coming out, another book coming out. I'm just dying for it.
I wish I should have. I wasn't planning on even bringing that show up until I saw the trailer came out. But that guy just fucking roasted the shit out of somebody on Facebook the other day.
Who, the author of?
Yeah,
Dave Smith?
On Twitter, because somebody had said something. Oh shit! It was some the guy. It was something shitty and bigoted, and he fucking tore into him, and I was like. Usually, I'm not accustomed to people especially authors. For some reason I put authors up there on a pedestal. This guy's not gonna fucking tear into somebody. He's probably above that. Turns out no. He fucking got him. He got
Actually,
him pretty good.
It's weird because you don't really in the show. I guess they do a little bit talk about it, but I think one of the core philosophies of that series is about how we need to tell the truth. We need to get out the truth. And that was, it was really good. Yeah. Very good.
Well, I liked Battlestar and
Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah.
So
say we all.
and Firefly. Did you ever watch Firefly? I love Firefly. Yeah.
Maybe my favorite.
I'm gonna lose the geek club, but I just didn't like Firefly.
No.
And the thing is that I didn't see it when it came out, and then I watched Serenity, and I was like,
did you watch Serenity before you?
First.
Oh.
And I was like, this is.
You have to watch the season.
Yeah, you fucked yourself.
It's a season and a half.
Just one season.
That's the thing is you can't it's the whole thing. If you read the book, then the fucking movie's gonna be shit. Or if you watched Wyatt Earp before you watched Deadwood, Deadwood is a piece of shit. Or not Deadwood, I mean
Tombstone.
So it's the same thing. It's whatever comes first. But I watched Serenity before I watched Firefly.
Man.
And I honestly I didn't even make it through Firefly because I watched Serenity and I was like, that movie fucking sucked.
You already knew what the whole season was building to.
There's just so much about it I didn't like.
Well, see, and you didn't get to, you didn't get all invested in the characters happened to me alarmingly fast.
Yeah, me too.
And by the time the episode where they're defending that cat house, when Captain Reynolds sleeps with Laura's friend, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm totally fine with it. I would have been disappointed if she didn't." And then he walks away, and she breaks down crying. I'm like, I did. I think yes, I think I did cry. I think I probably cried the 5th or 6th time I watched it too.
I think Battlestar Galactica may have been one of the best sci-fi, whatever you want to call it, shows ever. It was so good.
It was really, really good. Yeah.
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 It was so good and
I think I
complex.
watched all of it within the matter of a couple weeks. And,
oh geez,
I
binged it.
Yeah, and then all the movies.
Nice.
I wish I could have because I was on the edge of my seat for every
Like
episode
waiting,
coming out. Yeah.
Man, they pulled off one of the best like cliffhangers. The season finale where that other ship showed up.
Yeah.
And they're about to like fire on each other and shit. And man, I was so fucking mad. Because I'm like, are you fucking seriously doing this to me right now? Like I was like, fuck you. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, that show was great. So well done. It got kind of weird, at the end, but
I liked the way it ended though. It did. There were some time periods where it got weird, but yeah. It was. I loved everything about it. Though I actually have only watched it all the way through one time.
Yeah, me too.
I have watched. I've gotten done with a season and then been like, oh. And then I've gone back and watched parts of a season, but I've never sat down and watched it all from beginning to end again. But I would like to.
I couldn't find that damn Twitter quote.
Oh, that's what you were looking for.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else on your list there, Bubba?
Nah, one of these days we're going to talk about the Grade 8 project. Something I used to be into.
You have mentioned it like 5 times.
I know. But
well, fucking bring it out.
Well, okay.
Or is it really long?
Yeah, it's kind of longish, and it's not going anywhere. I mean, it was just a cause that I was interested in, like in the mid to late 90s. And I mean, I'm still interested. It's just that I'm not active really in it anymore. And basically it's just, affording a few simple rights to some other primates that are very close to us. I think I mentioned before that like chimpanzees are closer to us than, I think this helps people put it in perspective. Chimps are closer to us than zebras are to horses.
Yeah.
And then, look at Coco, Coco, learned how to communicate via sign language.
Right.
If you can communicate, if you can communicate to a primate, if you can communicate with another animal via sign language, then by all means tell it not to marry Ice-T. But
not as good as the Aztecs.
No, not at all. But Ice-T's wife is actually named Coco.
Yeah. Okay. I got it.
Oh, I'm glad you got it because I was like, yeah, I got nothing.
But
I hope he didn't spend too much time on that one.
No. So I used to be, pretty involved in this. I'm pretty involved. It's not like I was like fucking, storming the fucking. Well, anyway, it's just a cause that I thought had like fucking dried up and gone away because I hadn't heard shit about them. They don't mail me shit anymore. Then again, I've moved fucking 30 times since then. But I mean, it is kind of a great cause. Although, like a lot of people probably, I was like, fuck, there are a lot of causes, and a lot of human causes and stuff like that, like how much time do I want to spend, like fighting this particular one. But I mean, I do think, like people are eating, people still like kill chimps and eat them and treat them horribly and shit. And people get it, people assign human emotion, not assign human emotions, but like if you've got a dog, dogs have feelings and shit like that, like that's kind of a given. Chimps and, and bonobos and, and gorillas and stuff like that. That's, I think you'd find the same thing. But yeah, like another day we'll talk about it more when it's more timely and stuff. When we have more time for me to ramble on. But it's just something I found out is still active, still going on out there, and people are still hunting them and eating them and shit like that. And, but then again, I'm also one of those people that thinks zoos are fucking horrible.
I hate zoos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I like cry.
I thought everybody thought zoos were horrible.
No, people still are big fans of zoos.
Yeah, they go to zoos. People still go to zoos.
Which
I went to the zoo a while ago, but I went to see a concert, but I guess it's still a fucking zoo. I mean, I'm supporting that zoo. But yeah, I've always had a real hard time with zoos. I was going to say, like, you advocating for like, primates is like, I mean, it's kind of like you're advocating for yourself, bro.
Right?
And then number 2 is I was going to say, if a fucking chimp can learn sign language, it's pretty good because I fucking can't.
Yeah.
Like,
Rena taught our dog a few sign language.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then, like, she'll sit when she signs sit to her and stuff. It's
oh,
cool.
really?
Yeah.
Huh. So what you're saying is Reen is a chimp. Maybe more of an orangutan.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, on that subject exactly. Have you seen the new Jungle Book? I know it's a few years old now, but the new one.
I think so.
Okay, here's how I feel about the Jungle Book. If Louis Prima isn't singing "I Want to Be Like You," I can't get down.
Did you watch it though?
No.
Okay, it's not great. However, the scene when Booba, what the fuck's his name? What's the kid's name?
Mowgli.
When Mowgli has to go to the orangutan, right? And
King Louis.
Yeah,
King Louis. It's probably the greatest 8 minutes of animated film I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so great. Christopher Walken plays King Louis, right? And the rest of it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's worth watching. But that fucking 8 minutes is fantastic.
But is it as good as the musical number?
Dude, Christopher,
I want to be like you.
Christopher Walken. It's fucking fantastic.
I do love Christopher Walken.
Mm-hmm.
Do
that little
you? That was the worst impression of all time.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not really good at impressions. So.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was trying.
Right.
That was fair.
Last week we had Dave Bideau on, who was a city councilman, and one of the best things he was doing stand-up comedy before, and then he said he gave it up, and he's like, yeah, I really regret having to give up stand-up comedy to be on city council or whatever. And Kyle says, Dave, I've seen your stand-up, and I gotta tell you gave stand-up comedy a long time ago. That was a good zinger. That was a good zinger. That's a good one.
He set that shit up himself, though.
He did. It was a soft pitch.
Was
why that's why that episode was so fun, because Dave just was just soft pitching left and right, man. He could. Yeah. I mean, it was so easy to make fun of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's into it. He's got a good appreciation of that shit.
Yeah. No, I think he was just a victim, but whatever. Whatever. Okay. So, anything else on your list, Kyle?
A victim. When he called him a victim, I was like a hobo in the new underpass.
In the new underpass.
Shit. I'm good, man. I'm good.
So, Jenna, what do you got going on? So I know Prairie Bay. What's going on there?
So I'm almost done writing the new menu for that.
Okay, yeah, I heard that.
So that's in just a couple weeks, but next week I'm going to be up at Sherwood launching the new menu that I just wrote for up there.
Okay.
So that's
and
pretty
Sherwood
awesome.
Stays open all year round?
Yep, Sherwood stays open all year round.
Okay.
They kind of close down. I think it's Monday and Tuesdays.
Okay.
And then they stay open the rest of the days.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I'm going to be doing some cooking classes. I think a Friendsgiving with Sprout.
Oh, that'd be very cool.
Yeah. And then I really don't know. We
Now,
had Taste of the Lakes.
Don't we have sushi?
Yep, we do Sushi Thursday every third Thursday at Prairie Bay.
Every third Thursday.
Yep.
I got to put that in I'm going to come out there.
Yeah.
Not this month, but next month.
Yeah. And then there's just kind of a lot of stuff. I'm revamping the whole catering menu, so that's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And then eventually I'll get out to Iron Range and kind of work on their menu too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. If you don't know, Iron Range is a little restaurant up in the in Crosby, and it's just a cool, neat little place. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, anything else you want to tell us about? No?
No.
All right. Well, it was awesome. A pleasure to have you. I wish I was eating right now because I fucking really want.
It was
some
the worst time.
I
to
really
go on a
want.
fast
I
and
fucking really
have a
want.
chef guest.
I really. I am like a junkie for that General Tso's chicken that you have out at Prairie Bay. It is. It's by far like you say General Tso's chicken. I mean, how good could it be? It's that fucking good. I mean,
it's pretty delicious.
It's so good, and it's not so spicy you couldn't handle it.
I'm still thinking about that bucket of
the chili.
Yeah,
that's not chili. Yeah, it's so good. Awesome. Well, next week we are doing a special episode that is going to feature my guest, Kyle Amundsen. And I will be his guest, Matt Taylor. So we're going to do just a little, like a recap episode next week. And it's just going to be us two fools talking to you for 7.5 hours. So it should be super fun.
Yes.
Anything else?
I'm good.
All right. Sounds good. Well, we will catch you guys next week. Hello, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in to the episode with Jenna. So I'm going to take you out today with kind of a sad song. We talked a little bit in the episode about the song Live Like You Were Dying by Tim McGraw. And like I said, I'm not much of a country music fan, but that song kind of hit me, especially the line 2 points. I went 2.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu. Anyway, this song is not anything like that song, but it is sad as fuck. It's by a band called Merzik. They're out of Minneapolis. Really, really talented folks. They have an accordion player, and I always thought that if you have an accordion in a band, it's pretty cool. This song's called "Feel Like Giving Up." It is a little sad, but I think you'll make it through it. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks.
Take my broken body, let it be, because tonight I feel like crying, tonight I feel like dying, tonight I feel like giving up. I don't wanna be here anymore. Lay my broken body at your door, because tonight I feel like crying, tonight I feel like dying, tonight I feel like giving at your door. Well, tonight I feel like crying, tonight I feel like dying, tonight I feel like giving up. Tonight I feel like crying, tonight I'm sick of trying.
Well, that bitch is crazy.
I don't really know her.
She's fucking nuts.
I mean,
Is this all off air?
Oh God!
What? No, this is all on.
Okay, she's fucking crazy.